Hey there, Scorpio. It's Keaghan. I'm not actually going to be on camera for your reading, for this particular reading. I just don't feel like setting everything up, but I did want to sit down to do the readings, so I'm being a little bit lazy. I'm still in birthday mode. Thank you to everyone who wished me happy birthday on Halloween. I appreciated it. So yeah, Scorpios, you're just going to see my hand, probably both hands at some point. I'm going to shuffle through while I'm talking to you guys about a couple of things. First of all, I just want to say hello. If you are returning, thank you for coming back and watching another video. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoy this reading and you'll add me to your roster of YouTube tarot readers who you trust. Scorpios, we have to talk about last month's reading because it has almost 44,000 views, which is more than double what was the highest rated watched video of this channel. So thank you so much. It was really overwhelming. I have not had a chance to go through and comment to everyone because there were so many comments coming through, but I did read every single comment that came through. I've read all of the comments, and I also noticed that you guys were interacting with each other in the comment section, which I really appreciate. And I think we added on about 2,000 subscribers just from that Scorpio video alone. So I feel like the channel is probably around like 89-90% Scorpio at this point. So thank you guys so much. Seriously. I do just have this Oracle deck here. I'm going to shuffle through that as well. I did spend time shuffling before even starting to record. So I think we're getting ready to get going with the actual reading here. So a couple of things about that. It's a general reading. May or may not resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate, please do not try to make it fit. There are lots of other people that you can watch that might have insight into your particular situation. Although, even if you just get one thing from the reading, take that with you. Sometimes that is, that's awesome. Just getting that one thing, that one bit of clarity or insight given to you during the reading. I'm going to actually start with my Rider-Waite deck here. The other thing with general readings really quickly is that the energy can be reversed. So if that feels more natural to you, just take the reading that way. I will, however, be referring to Scorpio as one person that I'm reading and the other person as being the other person. So if you identify more with the other person, just pay attention to that as being what I'm speaking to you. I'm going to give this a cut. And then I'm going to take the top 3 cards here. This is just going to give me insight into what's going on, the current situation and energy. I have the Magician coming out upright, thankfully, because I hate that card reversed. Whew, with the 10 of Swords coming out upright. We'll talk about that. And the 7 of Wands coming out upright as well. Okay, well, pretty intense energy here, but the Magician is making me feel pretty good about this, to be honest. Let's talk about this 10 here. Yeah, something really painful happened, and this was something that this went on for a while. So I'm going to say here this would be a situation where this was a pretty long-term relationship, because what I'm feeling from this card is just the amount of effort and energy that went into getting to this 10. How do I want to explain this to you guys? So these 2 cards for me feel like they're telling a story of this past connection. And the 7 of Wands is really the one that is speaking the loudest to me, even more so than the 10 of Swords, which is a very painful card. But the 7 is giving off more energy simply because of the duration of time that it was in this like challenging energy and feeling like on one hand, it was like, we just have to get through this. We just have to get through this and maybe things will get better. Like that's part of the energy. But the other part of the energy is, am I even going to be able to survive this? So this swinging from feeling very hopeful about a situation to feeling like not even certain that you'll be able to even like keep doing it, keep working at it. And I feel like at some point there was a decision made to not continue working on this. Scorpio, this Magician, I feel like really represents the current energy that you're in. I feel like this is this past relationship. These two cards are telling a story together. And then this is really sort of like, I mean, it's literally like, you're pay attention to me. This is where I'm at now, though. This is a really interesting card, and this card is one of the cards that I think, I'm going to brighten this up a little bit for you guys. Hold on a second. Oh, it's really bright. About right there. That's good. Okay, so this Magician. Literally what I just did, I feel like this is what's going on with this card. It's and I've mentioned this in a lot of the Scorpio readings over the past couple of months, is Scorpios finding a lightness, reconnecting to their lighter sides a little bit more deeply than they have recently. And this Magician is really that energy. This is a card about manifesting exactly what it is that you want, being really resourceful, being very inspired from something that feels like it's either something that's supporting you or something that's not necessarily of you, but is conspiring with you. It's that intuitive psychic energy that Scorpio does really well in. That for me is what the Magician is when it's upright. Now, if you've watched my readings in the past, if this card ever comes out reversed, it freaks me out. I don't like it at all. But when it's upright, I love it. I love this energy. So I actually really like this energy for Scorpio right now. So let's take a look at this first. I just want to see what wants to come out to clarify in terms of this old relationship. If we get anything else that wants to come out, and it may well not. I do feel like this is something that for now, at least for Scorpio, this is something that's in the past. Yeah. Interesting cards coming out here. You have this Ace of Cups. I'm going to read this as reversed. A couple of things with this for me. Yes, I do think that this does indicate, taking back an offer, just confirmation that this is past energy. The other thing about this, though, is that this card does represent a need to nurture yourself, take care of yourself. It can also represent emotions that we have not processed and healed from, emotions that we've repressed or that we're trying to keep at bay. And this card also speaks to intuition, which coming out with the Magician here, I feel like, Scorpio, your intuition is never going to take you on the wrong path. That's the great thing about being a Scorpio. We're very plugged into our intuition. We trust it almost to a fault. We can get ourselves in trouble fairly easily because we do trust our intuition so much that sometimes we can mistake our own feelings and our own fears as being intuitive nudges. So Scorpios have to be very mindful of, what we're really considering to be our intuition. We have to know that intuition, connecting to that intuition, being the Magician, is about being connected to something that is truly giving us guidance, divine guidance. But we can get in our own way. So what I feel like this Hangman coming out sort of sideways here is, Scorpios do best when they get to the place where, if this Hangman was upright, this is that place where you're really just, you're right on the verge of surrendering. You're taking those last little moments to ponder something, but you really are to the point where you're almost ready to let go of it. But when it's reversed, it's this place of being very stuck and not being able to make a decision, being almost scared to make a decision. When this comes out on its side, to me, this just seems like it's just blocked energy that right now you're not able to tap into either. Right? So even if this was reversed and you're in a place of, stalling or being scared, at least you're doing something. That's action. But I feel like this is very just cut off. There's no action. And I think it's about this, this Ace of Cups is not flipped over. It's not being offered. It's been pulled back. And for right now, that energy just feels very cut off. So I feel like this is something that it's like, that's in the past and I'm done with that. This is where I'm at right now. And I want to see what I can do with this. And I'm curious to see that too. Like I'm really excited, especially if as many Scorpios watched this video as watched the one from October. That means that, and if you haven't watched my video from October, I do still recommend to watch it. I feel like that energy is going to be good through the middle of November. I'll try to remember to put something here so you can just click through to it from, up here somewhere. But if I forget that, just go watch the October 2019 reading for Scorpio. But if that many Scorpios end up watching this and liking it, then that means that you guys made the right choice. You made that decision and you followed that path. And, I think in that reading, I said what I felt was, the natural progression of that path was to get to the King of Cups. But I feel like really it was the Magician. It was, if Scorpios really did learn the lessons that they needed to learn and they really did level up, especially during Scorpio season. We have this, the new moon that was in Scorpio, Mercury retrograde, happened on Halloween. There's all this energy right now that's happening within Scorpio. And so if you guys ended up here, I mean, clearly whoever I'm reading for, the group of you did. What I'm saying though is if it's the same group from last month and tens of thousands of you guys managed to get to this place, I'm super excited about that. So I'm just going to pull from the top here. Okay, we have the Hierophant coming out with the Magician. I'm going to take one more from the top. The Page of Wands coming out here reversed. So I'm going to start here with the Hierophant, actually, because really what I'm getting from this card is that there was a really intense spiritual awakening that happened with a lot of Scorpios. And again, it's sort of insight that Scorpios, I feel like you have taken a look at yourself and you've thought about, okay, I've been the way that I have been for a period of time. And I'm going to look at things and I'm going to start to see if I can find anything in the pattern of the way that I love or the way that I've been hurt or the disappointments in my life or the failures in my life or the things that I feel are challenging. I'm going to take a look at those things and I'm going to evaluate myself. It's almost like this honoring of who you are and how you've been, but also realizing I can be and I can become anyone that I want to be. Okay? I hope that makes sense, because this Page of Wands here, what I get from this more intensely than anything else is just really being on a spiritual path and redirecting your own energy, your own reconnecting with how you trust your intuition, reconnecting with the fact that you realize you really can manifest what it is that you want into your life. You really can make those things happen. You've seen that proven in the past. Moving away from this older energy. Right? But this Hierophant just feels, what it feels like to me is just like this honoring of where you've been and what you've accomplished so far, and realizing that now you get to decide what's ahead of you, because you're putting a lot of closure into the stuff from the past. So I'm going to do a couple of shuffles and then do some cuts and see what else wants to come out here. I still feel most drawn to the Magician as the energy that I want to just keep tapping into. I just want to see what else is going to come out around that. Now, the thing with the Magician, sometimes if this card comes out and it's really the focus of the energy, the Magician is actually quite secretive as well. If you think about that, the Magician doesn't want their secrets getting out, right? Then how it happened, how it was done will be spoiled. So what I want to point out here is that a lot of times when this card comes out for me, how I interpret it is that this is actually the universe showing up to really support you and to honor you and to help you during a time of really, really profound growth. I feel like I'm not doing justice in explaining what this feels like to me energetically, because I don't really know how to explain it. It's a very deep appreciation of almost like the version of you that you've outgrown. That's the best way of describing it. It's realizing that you've had these things that you've just worn almost like a label describing who you are, and it's character traits. And you're realizing now with this Magician that you're moving away from this sort of being stuck in how things have always been, right? This energy of the Hierophant, how things have always been. You're moving into this place, and you're starting to say, you know what? I'm going to shake everything up. I'm going to make changes and see what happens as a result of that. If I no longer am in this energy, this 10 of Swords, 7 of Wands energy, if I'm not there and I'm sitting in this energy, what happens? What can even happen there? Okay, so let's ask that question. Like, what does this energy of the Magician upright bring in for Scorpios? November 1st through the 15th. Okay, well, we have the High Priestess coming out reversed here, and the Queen of Pentacles coming out upright. Right away, what I will say here is, Scorpios, I feel that one of the biggest priorities for a lot of Scorpios, for at least for the first part of November, feels very much, it's almost like a nesting type of energy. It's really focusing on what I feel oddly from this is home. That's what I'm getting most from this out of anything else. It's having this need to create a space that feels like it's truly home. And with this High Priestess coming out reversed, this is really about the High Priestess reversed. There's no communication. It's totally pulled back and it's silent. This is a place of actually being disconnected from your intuition. And I could look at this too in another way that I think I just want to address, because this will be true for some of you. I feel like being in this Magician energy for some of you, it's almost like it's overwhelming. And so you have to sort of disconnect yourself from your intuition a little bit and just be focused on like taking care of yourself and being very just at home and calm before you can go back into this and work through this, releasing this stuff that you didn't want to bring forward with you. I think that will make sense to everyone, but I feel like for a portion of you, you just needed to hear that was okay. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to be in this like Magician energy all the time. It's perfectly fine to disconnect from that and just live life for a little bit. Like, every day doesn't have to be some big, heavy, spiritual awakening or anything like that. I'm going to switch decks here. It's a very interesting reading. I like the energy here a lot. I do feel like this stuff up here is very closed out. Even with this Hangman coming out sideways, it feels very much like it's like it is a blocked energy, but I also just feel like there's not a lot of energy left there. It's almost like it's running out of emotional power, whatever this thing from the past is. I just wanted to look at this High Priestess a little bit more in depth with a card or two, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Do it one more time. Way too many cards. These cards feel very it's like I was saying with that Magician, like sometimes the cards will get very quiet when you're trying to pry into this, because the universe doesn't like revealing its secrets. It just doesn't. So with this High Priestess, you have the Knight of Swords coming out here reversed. Yeah, here's what I'll say about this, okay? It's really important that you don't stay in this energy very much. Okay, so ideally, if you can't maintain this all the time, this Magician energy, if you can't be in that space, try to be there as much as possible. For some of you, when you get here, you become very unfocused. You lose sort of that action and working through this quickly. Okay, so if you lose that ability to work through this quickly, then it's easy for your whole vibration to start to sink. Like, I feel like I need to actually like pull this down to like demonstrate that. When you're up here, when this is elevated energy, that's why I keep sort of like pushing these up. This Magician can really start to bring really amazing things into your life, right? So even though that might be overwhelming and it might feel like is bringing up a lot of stuff that you have to deal with in terms of pain or disappointment. Work through that stuff so that you can stay in the positive aspects of this. These cards are so sticky. Okay. So we do have the Ace of Cups here coming out upright. I was focusing on this Magician. I feel like this card needs to be this way. I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. But I just want to point out here, where I was saying in this past, this Ace of Cups felt very much like it was, you know, reversed. Like there's not energy here. Okay, well, down the road at some point, I think as a consequence of working through some of this stuff and embodying this Magician energy, there is this Ace of Cups here, which does feel like a new relationship to me. And it is not a return here of this person. This feels new. You have the Four of Cups coming out upright. I did feel like this card needed to be this way. I'm glad to see that because, you know, this Four of Cups here is really being in a place of, is exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about the Hierophant. It's being in a space of just contemplating, looking back at things, reevaluating your beliefs and reevaluating situations and people, allowing yourself to think differently, to be in a place of just, it's almost like a meditative type of energy, contemplating things, allowing yourself to challenge what you've known to be true. And in doing that, being in this Magician energy is awesome because when you say to yourself, okay, well, yeah, like I see this pattern in my life and I don't really want that anymore. Then you have this Magician behind you going, okay, well, what do you want instead? And so you have to be able to articulate that. You have to be able to know what you're letting go of, what you're no longer going to carry with you. But also, you have to know what you want in its place. Okay, so you have to be clear about that because you're really in a space of being able to create in terms of what you're pulling in towards you energetically. So Scorpio, I don't want to have this reading be too long because I'm going to be back mid-month to check in on things. So I'm going to go through this deck one more time, see if anything wants to come out. And we have the Six of Wands here coming out, which is just, you know, a really positive card. I feel like it's just saying again, like, you know, the other thing about the Four of Cups, for me, that just represents a really solid foundation. The Six of Wands coming out just represents success around this new ace. I went through that one. So, and I'm going to go back to my Rider-Waite, shuffle this once, and then just go through it one more time as well, see if anything else wants to come out, just as any clarification, any additional insight, confirmations. I'm telling you, that Magician, I knew this was going to be one of those situations where the cards got quiet. I'll go through one more time, guys. Because sometimes the universe just doesn't want to give away its secrets. I think I started trying to make that point earlier, and maybe I got sidetracked by something. But, you know, when the universe is trying to work something out, it doesn't really like to give us too much information, because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy and get in the way of things that are trying to come our way. We have the Ace of Swords coming out upright. Go through one more time. Yeah, you know, the Ace of Swords for me is just another card that represents success. So whatever's coming along the way, look at that. We have the Fool. I feel like that is definitely supposed to be upright. So Scorpio, here's what I'm going to say. Whatever's coming around the bend for you, whatever is up ahead after you work through some of this energy, go for it. You know, this is a situation where you have the Ace of Cups, the Four of Cups, the Six of Wands, with the Ace of Swords upright and the Fool card coming out around this new relationship. Okay, that's a ton of really amazing positive energy. You know, I feel like this is something that, again, it's coming. I don't feel like many of you are in this right now. I feel like I might be actually reading for a lot of single Scorpios right now, honestly, in this reading. This reading to me is, it feels very much like when I do a personal reading for someone who's single. There isn't a lot of current energy here in terms of like romance or being with someone, but there's all of this huge potential that exists here that's a consequence of sort of working through this stuff and letting go of sort of the way you always have been. So I'm really excited about this for all of us, actually. It's awesome when the Scorpio readings are good because I get to participate as well. When they're dark and twisty, I try to say that that's not me, just because, even though usually my Scorpio readings resonate with my own life as well. So I do have this Oracle deck. I'm going to feel my way through and just see what feels like it is meant for you, Scorpio. Back here. It's right here. So here's what this says. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. This is the exact vibe that I'm talking about. It's that contemplate. I mean, I literally was like, it's that contemplation energy. Okay. And so this is saying in any moment, Scorpio, know that you can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Finding that space of just, it's this High Priestess reversed with the Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. When I talked about that is that stillness type of energy, right? It's disconnecting a little bit from this magician and all that intuitive stuff and actually contemplating that guidance that you've been given. Okay, so it's shifting down into actually taking this guidance and implementing it in the real world, and then letting yourself go back up into this higher vibration. And doing that is what leads to this. Okay, keep in mind it's saying the presence of love. So for some of you, you may be meeting this person really soon, or it could be someone who's currently in your life that maybe you haven't been aware that this person is someone who is present for you in a romantic sense, because you've had this, you've been dealing with this past stuff. And again, this energy can go either way. So this could be them dealing with past stuff as well, but that's fading away and it's leading into this, which is new, which feels awesome. Okay, so my guides just told me to take a look at the bottom of this deck. I have no idea what's going to be on the bottom of it, but we'll see. We have Judgment reversed. I'll just talk about this just a little bit. I'm curious what's underneath it. We have the Six of Coins here, which is good. It's another good card with the Two of Cups underneath that. Okay, so here's one. Okay, so we have another super positive card, the Six of Coins, with the Two of Cups now coming out on this. So this is amazing. Okay, if you read tarot and you're watching this, like, this is so much positivity. It's crazy as a reader to see this many cards coming out that are all like supportive. I do just want to say here, Scorpio, it's very important as you are looking at things, as you are working through this energy between the Magician and the High Priestess reversed, all of that I've talked about. Okay, here's what's very important for you. You have to be aware of any doubt that you have in yourself. You have to pay attention to when you're mean to yourself. You have to pay attention to when you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. You're being guided to do it, but you don't listen to that. Any type of self-loathing, self-hatred that you have within you, you have to figure that stuff out. You have to confront that. You have to deal with it. And the way that you deal with it is through this contemplation and stillness. Being kind to yourself, loving yourself. If you're working through something that is very heavy emotionally, very heavy spiritually, Scorpio, it's very important that you treat yourself kindly. Imagine if you had a friend who was going through whatever it is that you find yourself going through. Like, treat yourself the way that you would treat them. Extend that same kindness and love to yourself that you would give to someone else who was going through something that was pretty heavy. And just know that this relationship here, this is that relationship that, like, you really look for. This is the type of relationship that just, it's firing on all cylinders and everything's going really good. I feel like this is a absurdly positive Scorpio video. It might just be because it's Scorpio season. It could be because I'm reading this the day after my birthday. I'm definitely in a very, new year type of energy, but we all are because it's Scorpio season. So I feel like this is actually accurate. So congratulations to all of us. We've earned this. We have definitely earned this. So it was a little bit weird not having the ability to talk to you guys face to face, but hopefully this was pretty and kept you engaged. And this is awesome. This is just amazing energy here. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, comment, Show the video some love. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe. Scorpios, I love you guys so much. Thank you again for all the support in October. It really means the world to me. You guys just have no idea. If you're interested in a personal reading with me, shoot me an email, KeaghanTarot@gmail.com. I will see you guys back mid-month, if not before then, just to do a mid-month check-in. I love you guys so much.